Gout Gout, the world record holder, is 18 years old, the fastest sprinter in Australian history for his age. When he first appeared on the Diamond League scene, the sport fiercely retaliated against him. 6 days later, with a world record at stake, he faced his mentor, the Olympic champion. Everything was altered by what transpired during those 6 days. No Australian music sprinter had ever accomplished what Gout Gout had by June 2026. At the age of 18, he set a new Australian under-20 mark in the 100 meters in February when he ran. Seconds flat in Brisbane, he became the first Australian male to breach the 20-second barrier in April when he travelled to Sydney and ran 1967 seconds in the 200 meters, creating a new world under-20 record that put him 16th on the all-time global list. He became the world's most talked-about sprinter after those two performances. He had previously trained with coach Lance Brahman in Florida with Olympic 100-meter winner Noah Lyles. Adidas had already signed him. He was previously likened to Usain Bolt. The analogies had grown commonplace. The senior circuit, the Diamond League, was the next test. The world's top athletes compete against one another on this stage every week. Gout Gout debuted in the Diamond League in the Bislett Games in Oslo, Norway on June 10th, one of the most renowned and historic track events on the calendar. He was the world leader in the distance going into the men's 200-meter final. His April time of 1967 remains the world's fastest 200-meter run in 2026. Knowing that everyone in the sport was watching, he entered Bislett Stadium. The Oslo 200-meter final was presented as a generational competition. Gout had looked up to Botswana's Laila Tabogo, the current Olympic 200-meter champion, since he began racing. An 18-year-old, on the other hand, had never competed at this level. Gout was honest about his desires in the hours leading up to the gun. He was fit and prepared to compete, he told Olympics.com. He claimed to have dreamed of winning. Although there was genuine confidence, the race did not go as expected. From the beginning, Gout battled. He was unable to get better. The distance was too wide by the time the field straightened up for the last stretch. With a time of 60 seconds, which was almost a full second slower than his world-leading 19.67 from 2 months prior, he placed 6th out of 8 runners. In 1984, Tabogo prevailed. South Africa's Sesifo Damile finished 2nd in 20.12. Gout trailed each of them by 3 places. He didn't deflect after the race. He answered honestly while standing in front of the cameras. "Definitely not what I imagined," he remarked. "I hope to win, but I can't let myself be let down. I've never played in a Diamond League. I'm going to have a little fun outside before returning to my training." The critiques arrived right away. His poor start was cited by some as evidence that he wasn't prepared for senior competition. Others wondered if his times had been inflated by wind-assisted circumstances back in Sydney. Every athletics forum and social media platform was ablaze with argument. In his first professional race, the teenager who had been compared to Bolt and Lyles finished behind 5 men. His Oslo performance of 2060 was almost a full second slower than his world-leading mark of 1967. That's a big difference in the sprint world. However, Gout Gout had already been here. He finished 4th in his semi-final with a timing of 36 seconds and missed the final by 1 spot. Hence, the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo again concluded without a final appearance. He had already mastered the art of accepting a difficult outcome, processing it and refusing to let it determine the outcome of the subsequent race. He boarded a plane to travel to the Czech Republic. Gout traveled to Austria for the Golden Spike meeting, a World Athletics Continental Tour Gold event. 6 days after Oslo, at the age of 17, he had previously competed here in June 2025, setting a personal best by winning the 200 meters in 20.02 seconds. He had already experienced kindness from the stadium. The race music was different this time. The main event was a 150-meter sprint, which is rarely run at an elite level, rather than a 200-meter sprint. Gout Gout faced off against Noah Lyles, the 4-time world 200-meter champion, Olympic 100-meter champion, and the man who had been coaching Gout during practice sessions in Florida. After winning the 100 meters in the Rome Diamond League earlier in the month in 9:88 seconds, Lyles came to Austria already unbeaten in 2026. Lyles was aiming for a world record as well. There aren't enough elite competitions for the 150 meters to have a recognized world record. However, Kishane Thompson of Jamaica had the fastest recorded time on a curved track, clocking it at 14:92 seconds on April 4th at the Miramar Invitational in Florida. Gout assured the media prior to the race that he was prepared for the confrontation. "It will be an exciting race against Lyle and me." He replied, "I've heard he's bringing the heat, so I'm going to be bringing the heat as well." It was evident that the confidence had returned. Whether the track would verify, it was the question. On June 16, 2026, during the 65th Austria Golden Spike, the gun went off. From the minute he emerged from the turn, Lyles was in control. With authority, he pulled out of the field after finding another gear on the straight. Thompson's world record was broken by 0.25 of a second when he crossed the finish line with a time of 14.67 seconds. Afterward, Lyles said to Czech TV, "Was there ever any doubt? Was there ever any uncertainty? We were there to see a show. Sinefo Damile of South Africa trailed Lyles by 14.78 seconds. A timing that would have surpassed the previous world record and a new African record. In 14.96 seconds, Gout Gout came in third. A new world under-20 record, an Australian national record, and a personal best. Music. His time was only 0.04 of a second slower than Thompson's 2-month-old world record. The moment that Lyles had just ruined, Gout returned a week after Oslo and broke 2 records, one for his nation and one for all 18-year-olds who had ever completed the distance. In an environment designed for show, he had raced against his master and produced a performance worthy of a world record. He was straightforward after the race. Noah set a world record in the 150 meters with his amazing running. "This is the race I've been needing," he declared. "I had a mediocre start today, but I definitely made it home." The outcomes from Austria and Oslo are 2 halves of the same narrative. The Diamond League, which has a more deeper field and speedier starts than the circuit back home in Australia, was harshly introduced to me in Oslo. Gout learned that lesson in public. But Astra demonstrated how he responds to setbacks. He didn't back down. Only a few days later, he entered the same arena as a worldwide celebrity and ran over 150 meters in the quickest time ever recorded by an athlete. Under the age of 20, critics questioned whether his Australian performances would translate before to Oslo. In response, Gout finished ahead of the rest of the race on the podium behind Lyles. Notably, he left the rest of the pack behind and finished behind one of the most reliable sprinters on the 2026 circuit. Sineso Damile, the World Athletics Under-20. Championships in Eugene on August 5th will mark the start of the next phase. In order to concentrate solely on winning junior world titles in the 200 meters and 4x400 relay, Gout has skipped the Commonwealth Games.